Many carriages were lined up outside the palace that night. Apparently, no one had ever thought of carpooling. Soon, in a heavy, gilded carriage painfully pulled by a team of horse slaves, Cinderella arrives. Every head in the ballroom turned as Cinderella entered. The men stared at and lusted after this woman who had captured perfectly their Barbie doll ideas of feminine desirability.
Dang, she fine.
Just wait till I take her off that dress.
I suck them toes.
The women, trained at an early age to despise their own bodies, looked at Cinderella with envy and spite.
She is beautiful, but she's doing too much. I love her dress, but I look better in it.
Is she wearing glass slippers?
Cinderella's own mother and sisters of step, consumed with jealousy, failed to recognize her.
Mommy, who is that?
She's stealing our spotlight.
Pay no mind to her, darlings. The prince couldn't possibly want her. She doesn't even look natural.
Cinderella soon caught the roving eye of the prince, who was busy discussing jousting and bear baiting with his cronies. Upon seeing her, the prince was struck with a fit of not being able to speak, as well as the majority of the population.
Yo, here is a woman that I could make my princess and impregnate with the progenies of our perfect genes, and thus make myself the envy of every other prince for miles around. And she's blonde, too.
The prince says to himself. He began to cross the ballroom toward his intended prey. His cronies also began to walk toward Cinderella. So did every other male in the ballroom, who was younger than 70 and not serving drinks.
My fair lady, I am the prince, and it is a pleasure to have you at my ball.
Please, the pleasure's all mine.
May I have this dance?
Oh, but of course.
Cinderella was proud of the commotion she was causing. She walked with head high and carried herself like a woman of eminent social standing. Cinderella and the prince locked eyes as well as hands and began to take the floor with the dance.
I've dreamed of this day.
Well, keep dreaming, because it only gets better. With me, in my private quarters.
What started off as an elegant and beautiful dance soon became ugly, or at least socially dysfunctional. The prince had made it clear to his friends that he was intent on possessing the young woman, but the prince's resoluteness angered his pals, for they too lusted after her and wanted to own her. All the men grabbed a lady and joined in on the dance, all passing their partner around in order to steal the dance with Cinderella. This soiree soon became a bash. The men began to shout and push each other. Even the prince's best friend, who was a large, if cerebrally constrained duke, stopped him halfway across the dance floor and insisted,
I'm gonna have the girl. Not if I have anything to do about it.
Oh damn, I did not see that coming. Wow, anyway. The prince was quickly seized by other sex-crazed males and he had disappeared into a pile of human animals.
Oh my. What a bunch of animals.
Women were appalled by the vicious display of testosterone, but try as they might, they were unable to separate the combatants. Meanwhile, for the women,
This is all your fault.
You waltzed up in here thinking you're the bee's knees.
Mm-hmm.
But all you did was bring chaos.
You should be punished for your acts.
Yeah!
the women encircled Cinderella and began to display very unsisterly hospitality.
Please wait, let me explain.
She tried to escape, but her impractical glass slippers made it nearly impossible. Fortunately for her, none of the other women were shod any better. The noise grew so loud that no one heard the clock in the tower chime at midnight. When the bell rang for the 12th time, Cinderella's beautiful gown and slippers disappeared, and she was dressed once again with her peasant rags. Her mother and stepsisters recognized her now, but kept quiet to avoid embarrassment.
The woman grew silent at the magical transformation,
Freed from the confinements of her gown and slippers, Cinderella sighed and stretched and scratched her ribs. I'll take it from here, narrator.
Okay.
Kill me now if you want, sisters, but at least I'll die in comfort.
And that's where I come in. Hear ye, hear ye. There shan't be any killing today. Well, except for the men.
Come here, mademoiselle.
My friends, and the mice. Hi, Gus.
You women have all been blinded by these men and what they want. Trained from a young age to hate on other women. Trained to be ashamed of your natural body type. Trained to be ashamed of your natural beauty. Well, let me tell you something. That all ends today. These dresses aren't made for you. They are made for them. You're told that a man doesn't want a lady bigger than them, so you starve yourself to maintain a perfect body shape. Or the fact that some of you literally had to cut parts of yourself off to fit in some shoes because they weren't your size. And you know who you are. I've been watching. Ladies, 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 you are far more special than what these men think of you. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and if you think you are beautiful, then you are gorgeous. You don't live for these men. These men live for you. And if they want you, they need to be the one to change, not you. These confining dresses and makeup tested on animals need to come to an end.
Sisters, look, I too was blinded by the men and what I was taught, but tonight I want to make a change. Starting by what we wear. I make dresses at home, dresses built for comfort, and if you don't believe me, take a look behind me. My brothers and sisters, all wearing something that I've created, something that accommodates all shapes and sizes, nor corsets. So embrace your natural self, embrace all of it.
Ah, mademoiselle, I see you took my advice.
Yes, I did, and I thank you for that.
But of course.
Is something supposed to be happening right now?
Oh, shoot.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How's the story?
Yeah, about that. I finished my part. You can narrate again.
Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on.
Any minute now.
The women around her again grew envious, but this time they took a different approach. Instead of exacting vengeance on her, they stripped off their corsets, shoes, and every other confining garment. They danced and jumped and screamed in sheer joy, comfortable at last in their shifts and bare feet, or at least those who could dance in their bare feet.
Had the men looked up from their macho dance of destruction, they would have seen many desirable women dressed as if for the boudoir. But they never ceased pounding, punching, and clawing each other until to the last man, they were dead.
Complete animals?
Tell me about it.
You know what's funny? I feel no remorse.
As you shouldn't. Their own thoughts, beliefs, and greed led them to this fate.
And all we did was watch.
Thank you, fairy godperson.
Please, call me your godfather.
The palace and realm were theirs now. Everyone turned and looked at Cinderella.
So, what do we do now?
I have a pretty good idea.
Their first official act was to dress the men in their discarded dresses and tell the media that a fight arose when someone threatened to expose the cross-dressing tendencies of the prince and his cronies.
Their second act was to set up a clothing co-op that produced only comfortable, practical clothes for women. WOMYN, if you were wondering.
And then they hung up a sign on a castle advertising Cinderwear, and through self-determination and clever marketing, they all, even the mother and sisters of Steph,
lived happily ever after. The end.
So, ladies and gentlemen, and say it with me now, those in questioning, didn't I tell you this would be a bedtime story you have never heard before? And I wasn't kidding. Not only did our Cinderella learn that there is a community out there that loves her for who she is, but has surrounded herself with people that have good intentions and won't bring her down. Our little Cinderella, as well as the people in the story, learned a valuable lesson about how beauty is a misinterpreted concept, a stigma that ought to be destroyed. For all my gentlemen in the room, make sure you are treating the woman in your life as if she's the last woman on earth, because they go through hell and high water just to make sure that you're happy and have what you need. They are not some 5-pound carcass for breeding sex. They once and still have dreams of their own. For all the ladies in the room, you must know that you are more than just a piece of meat powdered like a donut waiting on a shelf for the next gluttonous slob to pick you. Those dreams and aspirations that you have are not just fantasy. They are far more achievable than you think, and though society might stand in your way, you are stronger than you know. Keep a paranoid mind, and the universe will remind you of what a star you truly are. But who am I? I'm just a fairy tale narrator. The political education thing isn't for me. What I can say is that your $10 will be put to good use. So thank you for coming to my telling of a simple bedtime story. Good night to you all.